Hey guys, what's up? Place Satellarknight here. I'm going to do a video explaining why I run as many monsters as I do in my Tellarknights and stuff like that. I mean, people have been asking me a lot why I run the amount of monsters I do, why I don't run as many traps as others, and stuff like that. Well, I'll explain it in this video, so if you ever have a question after watching one of my deck profiles, just come watch this video. I'll try to make an updated video every time I make a new deck profile of my Satellarknights, and of if I ever make a deck profile of Necros, and then when I do make one of my Lightsworns, because I will make one of my Lightsworns at some point, probably later today, but I do not know. Necros, the reason I say at some point is it's not finished. That's why I say at some point. But yeah, I'll just get started on my Satellarknights real quick. So, I've had a lot of questions on why I run 15 monsters compared to the 12 or so that everyone else runs. Well, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Lost focus there for a second on the camera. Run the 3 Deneb, like usual. Deneb's your Searcher, your Stratos, pretty much. Run the 3 Altair as usual. So these are all the cards that everyone's running in the new format so far. The 2 Vega and the 2 Unicall. A lot of people have been running 3, 1. I do 2 and 2. It's easier for me that way. But then you have the Thunder King Ryo that a lot of people have started main decking. I run it inside deck. I'll get to that here in a little bit if I choose. But right now it's mainly just main deck. But then you have 5 cards. Then I have 5 cards in my deck that no one else runs, and that would be Alson, Rigel, and Sirius. I don't see why they don't run these anymore, because Alsom does a 1,000-point burn. Rigel can give any Satellarknight monster a 500 boost. So Triver 26, Rigel 24, Diamond 32, Delteros a 3,000, and then Ptolemaeus a 1,050. But even though they're sent to the grave in the end phase, if you do it with Triver or Delteros, you get their graveyard effect, so it's pretty helpful. But that's why I like Satellarknights, because they have the grave effect and they can special summon pretty easily. Triver can even bring itself out because it does not specify that you cannot bring it out, and its effect activates after it's in the grave. So you can bring Triver out with its own effect. But then you have Sirius, which resets cards if you run out of Altair or run out of Deneb. You can send them back, because it sends 5 Satellarknight monsters back to your deck, shuffle them in, and then draw 1. And that includes the XYZs. You can send Diamond and stuff back to your extra deck using Sirius's effect. So it's pretty helpful. And then you have the 2 Honest that I don't know why people stopped running Honest, to be honest. I didn't even plan for that one. But you have the 2 Honest, and people can't, people don't expect it anymore. So you go against a Necros deck, they're like, oh, Bryanak, attack your Deneb and destroy it. Damage step, Honest. Sorry. I wish I could have helped you more on that attack and let you destroy my Deneb, or whatever you're attacking. But instead, I'm just going to drop an Honest and say bye-bye to your Bryanak, or your Unicorn, Trishula, whatever. I mean, against Lightsworns, it's Judgment Dragon most of the time. But I mean, I run 15 in this deck because you can get faster plays off, you can win faster that way. You have more monster defense and offense than you do traps, and that's actually why Satellarknights have not been topping very many events. They have too much trap defense than they do monster offense, so they can't bring out these as easily anymore. They can't bring out any of their extra deck that easy anymore. I mean, you look at my extra deck, you see 3 Triver, 3 Diamond, 1 Ptolemaeus, 1 Delteros, and then you have the number 86, the Excalibur, number 80, Steel Swarm Roach Castell, number 101, Silent Honor Arc, and number 103, Ragnazero. And I can bring all those out in one game if I choose to. I mean, I normally do against Shadows and Burning Abyss and stuff like that, and Necros. I always want to be extra deck defense against Necros because those are your strongest attack monsters, except they are made to counter extra deck cards. That's what sucks. That's why I normally just do Thunder King Ryo or whatever. The Dimensional Fissure is a jerk to Necros. I love using that against Necros and Cleese. That is so fun. Yeah, 15 monsters help out. In Satellarknights, you want to run less than 17 monsters, but more than 12, so that you know you can get at least one monster in your first hand, and you aren't getting overloaded with a bunch of monsters you don't need. Like, Sirius is bad in your first hand. Rigel can be good, depending on how you... what turn who goes first, who goes second. Awesome is always good because it does a 1,000-point burn. Unokalhai is never really that good. Vega, definitely don't want that in your first hand. Altair is helpful if you have a Deneb in your first hand, because then you could summon Deneb, search for Vega, then do something on your opponent's turn that causes your Deneb to get destroyed, and Vega, Altair, Deneb, overlay 3, Triver, send everything back. But now for the spells, I run the standard 3 Reinforcement of the Army that everyone's used to seeing in Satellarknights. I'll never run less, I'll never run more, unless they change the rules to where you can have 4 of each, which I really doubt they will. I really doubt they'll become like certain card games that do that, and I can't remember what ones do. I think Magic does, but I'm not completely sure. Run the 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, of course, which I don't know why people cut it down to 1, 2, or not even a single one in the deck, and they're all in the side deck. Because of against Cliffords and stuff, they activate Scout's Effect? No. Well, okay. Up against the Yosenjus, they activate something like Vanities or Die-Fi or something like that? No. I mean, in the Talonite Mirror match, you want to get rid of their back row as fast as possible. I've noticed that. I mean, I've never lost to a mirror match. I've never lost to any meta gameplay. Any meta matchup. I've never lost to any rogue decks, any past meta, or anything like that. This build has never lost. It's won against the Elemental Hero Shadows. It's won against the Saphira decks, the Necros, and Infernoids. It's won against all those. It's a pretty good deck. I run 1 Book of Moon, standard. Regeki, standard. Upstart Goblin. It's better than Pot of Duality if you ask me. Even though your opponent gains 1,000, you can still special summon, so it helps out. Then Soul Charge, I just use it as a decoy. And it's pretty self-explanatory why I run it. Why every Satellarknight deck runs it. Dark Magician Girl. Just randomly on my playmat, Dark Magician Girl, Yugi, and then Dark Magician's covered up mostly. Traps, I run the usual 3 Telenova Alpha. People have started taking out 1. I don't know why, because it's really helpful. Summon Unicorn. No. pretty much use its discard effect, no. Summon Colossalus, use its effect on your extra deck, no. Same for Bryanak, definitely Sophia, the Decisive Armor, Trishula summon effect, Gunganir's either of her effects, Catastor, either of his effects. Just, this is helpful against it. 3 Call of the Haunted, I will always run 3, never run less than 3 or more unless they change the rules, of course. 2 Fiendish Chain, better than Breakthrough because you can just keep on looping it with Driver. Compulse, of course. Solemn Warning, makes sense. Blackhorn for Mirror Match, and of course the Necros, which makes sense. The Wiretap, Oasis, Bottomless, and Mirror Force. I saw a video earlier today where someone said most people won't expect you to bring out Mirror Force when it's a format where there's a lot of Yosenju decks now because they are pretty much rogue, aka anti-meta. Although I call them meta because they play just like every other meta deck I've seen. Only difference, no special summons, just nothing but normal summons. But like, and then everything in my extra deck is self-explanatory. Most people don't run 3 Triver. I do because it loops faster. 3 Diamond for games where I actually end up bringing out 3. The new one, skip turns. Delteros only run 1 of because I don't run the Star Seraphs, of course. Which, if I had the 3 Star Seraph Sovereignty, I would. Trust me. The number 86, of course. Always run that in Satellarknights now that it's out. Heroic Champion, 80, Still Swarm Roach, Castell, Silent Honor Arc, and 103, of course, always run all those. I'll never not run those. And then you get into the side deck. Not Maxi, Flying Sea. I wish I had a Maxi. Flying Sea for Mirror Match, Ryo, usual, anti-meta play. Constellar Belt for Skill Drain. Defusion for Shadow, Di-Fi, meta matchup, mirror match, stuff like that. 2 Spell Shattering Arrow for the Cliffords, which I don't really have to worry about them as much, but I still run 5 cards for going against them. Light of Intervention for going against Shadows, I hate going against those. Mind Crush for the Necros matchups, and mirror match sometimes. Soul Drain for the Yang Zings and Shadows and stuff like that. TT, Torrential Tribute, and then Vanities. Which, there's not really much to explain when it comes to my side decks, so, yeah. But anyway, that's it for my explanation video. Comment which deck you want to see next out of the decks I haven't done a deck profile on. I haven't done one on Necros, Light Sworns, or at least I haven't done Light Sworns in a while. I can't remember if I have or not. The Melodious, I haven't done one of Agents. I probably need to do that at some point. Let me finish the extra deck on that. I haven't done an update to my Blue Eyes, and I think that's actually all my decks, except for my Exodia Draw, but I don't really like using that right now because of all of the Mind Crush. Oh my gosh. That's like the worst matchup for the Exodia, because they see you're using an Exodia Draw deck, you stall their next turn, set something, don't know what it is, your turn, they activate it, it's a Mind Crush, they say an Exodia piece, bye. Like, they can, well, I mean, it's still pretty hard for them to get correct, but sometimes you'll have all but one piece in your hand, they'll say one of the 4 that's in your hand, and that's game. Especially if it's the head, because you have no way to bring that back in an Exodia Deep Draw, which is what mine is. I would say Zephyros, except I don't have all the cards for Zephyros. I need to finish getting all those because I'm going to make a Zephyros Satellarknight deck once I'm done. Which, if anybody has any Zephyr cards for trade or anything, feel free to email me at coltonelliott98@gmail.com. I'll put it in the comments and stuff for you guys. Or just comment saying, hey, I have a card that you need. I mainly need the Zephyr Thuban, I believe, because it's not the Zefraxiton Knight. Well, Zefraxiton, I say Zefraxiton Knight for some reason. I have 3 of that one. 3, even though I only show 2 right here. 3, even though I only show 2. 2, 3, Zephyr Divine Strike, and Compulse. So, yeah, I need stuff for Zephyrs, but yeah, that's my Satellarknights. So, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this deck now that I've explained it and stuff. I won't post this as a deck profile, but I'll put it on as an explanation video. I'll start doing those after I do a deck profile. I'll put them on a day or two after. In this case, it will be 2 or 3 days after, depending on when it finally finishes uploading. But that's my Satellarknights. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Duelist Tellarknight signing off. Just remember, if you're in Oklahoma and stuff, feel free to let me know, because I might go to Al's Card Shop in Edmond at some point for a tournament on a Sunday when they have it. So let me know if you go, and I'll try to say hi to you if I go. Thanks, guys. Duelist Tellarknight signing off.